this is all fake. Everything's fake. Time is fake. Nothing's real. Hello, everyone. So today's episode is a little different. It's still Yip To My Yap, and I'm still Erica Starr, but it's just me today. And I think, especially this being the first episode where it's just me, let me just explain what the heck is Yip To My Yap. Who am I? Why am I doing this? What got me here? If you couldn't tell, I love to talk. That is something that has been me since I was a little gal. And I've always had those conversations where I was just kind of like, oh, it's just a little podcast, just those silly little things you say with your friends and you never follow through with. And then I just got to this really, really nice place in my life. Like, as of recent, I don't know, I've been so happy. I love my friends. I love my family. I love my dog. I love where I am in life. I love what I do for a living. I love the things I get to do and things that I'm able to do and the place that I'm able to live. And I don't know, I am just so grateful all the time for all the things in my life. And I think that's the place that you need to be in when you take on something as big as a podcast, because I'm just one person. And it's a whole freaking lot to put a podcast together. I learned that the hard way. But I knew that there was a lot that I didn't know. And I started recording episodes early. And, I just started working on this a lot earlier than when I started posting. And everyone knows that. Everyone was up my butt saying, hello, like, when are you posting? You talk about this thing and there is not a single trace of it on the internet. And now it's all I post about. And I don't know, like, I started this and it really emphasized this whole idea that I have been just not idea. Is it a motto? I don't know. No, it's not a theory. What the heck? It's a thing I live by. What the heck do you call those things? Whatever. A phrase? A catchphrase? No. Holy cannoli. Whatever. Point is, my whole thing, my approach to life, there we go, is that I just figure it out. Because you're not gonna know anything unless you try. And that's just who I am. So I started this and I was okay, so we're just gonna talk and see what happens. I started doing that and I was just like, okay, this is cool. Now we need some structure. And then I started, doing a lot more things behind the scenes to really prep for the episodes, and I get more into topics, and I've been learning a lot. I have been learning so much. And I think that's also been another big thing in my life recently, where I'm open to learning, because I'm a very stubborn person. I know this. I'm less stubborn than I was before, but I can be a little, miss know it all, and think I know every effing thing, but I don't. And I have really been acknowledging that, because I'm learning a whole lot, and I don't know, I'm just allowing myself to learn and allowing myself to know that I can be so wrong about so much. There are so many stupid things that I have messed up on with this podcast that it's like, Erica, like, come on. I used to switch batteries in the middle of an episode as soon as the battery died. And that was stupid, because it would cut me and the guest off in random parts of our conversation. And I have terrible eyesight. So we had to rely on me looking at, the camera to see if the camera was dead or not, or if it stopped recording, whatever. And then I spoke to a friend at the gym. And he was like, why don't you just plug in your camera into the wall? And I was like, you know what? I'm an idiot. And that was mistake number one. And that is one of probably 100, 200. We're pretty deep into this. We're probably at 1,000 now, but it's fine. It's fine. It's part of the process. But yeah. So I think that I'm in a space where I'm open to learning, and I'm open to just so many things. I don't know. Like, this is, okay, how are we saying this? I am someone who full on believes that for as long as this is going to sound so Disney, as everybody tells me, if you put the work in and you believe in yourself and you have people around you who also believe in yourself, and you just put yourself in a place that is open to receiving all the good, and your intentions are well, and all that good stuff, you know, then you're set for life. You're good. You're solid. And everyone's always like, Arca, life's not that simple. And I'm like, listen, man, that's worked for me. And I don't know. I feel like for as long as you're happy and full of joy, and for as long as you just fucking just try, you know, and you do all the things that you're passionate about, you're gonna be just fine. But it's a lot of work. So if you're not willing to do the work, then yeah, of course it's not gonna work out. So that's what got me here. I have always been into video. Video has been my thing since I was a kid. Since flip phones, when I don't even know how I made videos on a flip phone because you can't see yourself and the cameras were terrible, but I used to. And then I got my first Nikon Coolpix when I was about 8 or 7. My dad got it for me. It was so cool because it was like the Ashton Kutcher camera, and you get to draw on the camera because it was touchscreen. Super cool. And then after that, like, my cell phones started becoming a thing. And I don't know, I've just always making videos. I made YouTube videos for a little bit when I was in high school, and then college happened. I was like, yo, life is getting a little hard. I can't make YouTube videos, And then I just got really into my videography, my photography, just kind of full on went into it. Started, developing some kind of career path because I'm an adult now, apparently. And then, I just realized like I miss being on camera. And maybe it's narcissistic, who knows? I don't know. But I miss being on camera. I know I have some kind of presence. I know that for as long as a close friends has existed on Instagram, or for as long as Snapchat stories have existed, I have just yapped on camera with like 5 people listening sometimes for no reason. It just felt good to talk on camera to myself pretty much. And it just feels good. It just feels good. I can't put it any other way. And I feel like being able to speak or being able to, have thoughts and say them out loud. Like everybody has their thing. Some people need to write them down. Some people need to just feel it, or some people need to sing it. So like there's just so many things. I just need to talk. Like I think people downplay how healthy it is to be able to talk or to be able to have people who are willing to listen. That is such a big thing. Like I don't know, because even introverts will yap it up to the person that they trust. You need to speak. You need to get your thoughts out into the world. And even for me, I am A-okay with all these thoughts being, recorded right now, posting it on YouTube, posting it on Spotify, posting it on Amazon, wherever, and nobody listening. Because I just know that I had the thoughts, they're recorded, and they're out there. And that's all that matters to me. And I can sound like an idiot sometimes, but I want that out there too. I don't care. Like, I want this podcast to show how what is the word? Like, we're just like, people are freaking complicated, and that's okay. We're fucking human, Like, we are complex, we are complicated, we have different sides. Like, I love that I have my friends on here, and you guys see very different sides of me every episode. Like, very, very different sides. And like, I just had 2 friends meet the other day, and afterwards, one friend tells me about the other. Like, I could tell she brings out, like, not to sound like your typical Instagram, whatever, but he was like, I could tell she brings out your inner child. Like, you're different with her. And I love that. I effing love that. Like, you don't have to be, one person for everyone. And I feel like even for me with my friends, like, I have friends for different reasons. I have friends who, for whatever reason, every time we hang out, one of us is crying. We're just telling each other everything, and the real deep stuff comes out, and that's just how it goes. And that's just that friend. That's the venting friend. And then I have friends where if you want a good time, you see that friend. I have friends where you want to laugh, like you want to be 2 minutes into a conversation and you're busting out laughing, go to that friend. You want a friend that you have like really geeked out conversations about video and movies and film and stuff, go to that friend. And that's okay. Like, you're not using them. That's not what that is. It's not like I'm using anybody for anything. It's just like, no, like there's so many different sides of me, and there are so many people who can connect to each of these different sides. And even if you don't connect to another side of me, as much, that's fine. That is so fine. That is A-okay. For as long as there's no judgment, that's the biggest thing for me with friendships. For as long as you accept me and you know that I'm a mess and you accept my mess and I accept your mess, we're fine. We're solid. We are solid. And I want this podcast to show that. I really do. Like I want people to see that. I really, really, really do. So yeah, that's that. I felt like with this podcast that I needed to have a solid group of friends. One, a group of friends that I could rely on to show up and show up on time and support me. Like I didn't realize how few friends I had before until I started thinking about like doing something like this. And I was like, oh, like who would be there for me? Who would help me and actually be helpful? Because there are some friends that okay, I'll say this. I have some friends who want to be on the podcast that I'm just like, no. Like you shouldn't be. Like you can't even talk. Like I love you and you can talk to me and we are great together, but you don't do well on camera and that's okay. You can help in so many other ways. You can help in so many other ways. But um all that to say, I feel like all my friends or all the people who I legit consider my friends are people who are just nothing but supportive in everything that I do. They help me and they ask for nothing in return. They're just helping me for the sake of being my friend. And that is something that is so freaking rare. And I feel like the more friends that I get that are like that, the more that I attract because, you know, me and my little spiritual nonsense, that's what I'm on. And it's just been so great. And this is what brings me back to this whole thing of just like, just be a good person. Just do what you love. Just try your best. It's gonna work out. It's gonna freaking work out. Cause I'll tell you, like, I've been a good person for a hot minute, but there was a little overlap between me being a good person and me, you know, whatever, just like I said, being a good person and me being depressed and sad and miserable, honestly, on my 13th reason. And it's just like, that's okay. I feel like people don't know how to go through that part without thinking like, this is it. Like, what am I being a good person for? And then just starting their villain arc. Like, it's, oh my gosh, peaks and valleys, babe. Peaks and valleys. Um, Speaking of peaks and valleys, I love Gilmore Girls. And you know what? This is just me kind of like side noting right here. But I've been watching Gilmore Girls. I just started watching. I'm a late fan because I know this was a thing before, but I just got on it. And there's this one episode. And if you don't know Gilmore Girls, you'll still be able to understand. There's a mother and a daughter. The mother's Lorelai, the daughter's Rory. And in this episode, and I think it kind of like hit me because I'm super close with my mom. The more you watch this podcast, the more you realize I don't shut the F up about my mom. I don't play about her. She don't play about me. That's it. We're the same person. Anywho, there's a mother and daughter in this episode, and they're both going through things, but their problems aren't their problems aren't that big. Like the daughter, she's in Yale and she gets her first D on a paper. And she's like, oh my God. And the professor's like, listen, you got to drop a class. It's okay. Like, you're in Yale. You can't handle the workload. And she's freaking out because her grandfather had taken the same amount of classes that she's taking now. And she's just like, oh my God, like, I'm a failure, I'm a failure, I'm a failure. And me being an overachiever in high school, I felt exactly like that because I would get like a 95. Failure where? Looking back now, yeah. But in the moment, no, my world was in shambles, you know? And then the mother is going through something where she has to put together some money towards her business. She doesn't have it, but she has a friend who's very much willing to give it to her. No malice, nothing. Like, it's just a really good friend of hers that's willing to give her the money. She knows that, and she knows she can go to him, and she just doesn't. But she has that, you know, option. And she's like, I'm a failure. Like, everything's wrong with the world, and oh my gosh, like, I'm never gonna be able to do this. Like, I can't do everything by myself. And you're not supposed to do everything by yourself. That's the whole point. So I'm watching this episode, and there's this part where they both break down. And they're breaking down and they're crying and they're feeling all these things over problems that can be fixed or problems that aren't 100% problems. And I was just like, it's the first time in a show that I've seen an issue and a breakdown and meltdown, whatever, that is so effing similar to my life. Like, I don't know. I feel like we watch these like Netflix shows and everything it's going crazy. You got drug dealers and you got like all these crazy things happening. There's like a murder in the background context to every story. Like, it's just too much going on. But this was just I just connected to it so much. I started crying because then I started thinking like, you know, there are times that I'm freaking out or whatever over things, sometimes money things that aren't even that big of a deal. Or like, I don't know. if you know me, you know, I just be freaking out sometimes. And then I think about like how similar me and my mom are. And I'm like, wow, like there are times that her and I are both just going through it and we don't speak to each other for like maybe, I don't know, like a day, 2 days, because we both like, we just take time to feel whatever we're feeling and get back to business, you know, afterwards. And I don't know. I just feel like I was going somewhere with that. I was going somewhere with that. I really was, I swear. Oh, I feel like it's just very real. Like I feel like there's nothing, I don't want to say nothing, but there aren't too many depictions online, social media, mainstream at least, that just show like, you know, just being an average person is hard sometimes. And not to say I'm pretty special, I'm not average, but you know what I mean. Like just being a human is hard. And that's okay. It's okay. It's so okay. And I have had so many moments where I could look back at things and like, listen, I'm not old. I'm not saying I'm old. I know people are watching like, who's this little kid talking about? Whatever. But like, I have had moments where I look back and I'm like, my problems weren't even that big. What was I on about? What? What? Like, no. Like, you just gotta, I feel like one of the, me giving secrets to life like I'm 90. I feel like one of the secrets to life though is just not taking yourself so damn seriously. Just don't. You're nothing. Like, I go through these waves of just like, but it helps when you're like, okay, I'm nothing. I'm nothing but a speck. This, like, nothing I do makes any impact in this world. I could do whatever I want and no one cares or knows and it's fine. Everything's fine. Nothing means anything. But then on the flip side, it's like, no, the world is exactly what I make it. The world, like, I control everything. I am in control of my own destiny. Screw fate. I control everything, you know? And it's okay to flip flop on those. I feel like there's a time and a place for either mindset. And that's what I mean, where it's like, you can't just be on some, like, well, this is what I believe. This is how it's going to be. And that's it. I live by this all the time. No, no, no. It's okay to change your mind. It's okay. I sound like the Hannah Montana song. You can change your hair and you can. If you know, you know, because that sounds silly to the old people. Anywho, yeah, just don't take yourself so damn seriously. For what? For what? But at the same time, you are a effing star. You're amazing and you're great and you're freaking perfect and you can do no wrong. And then there, you know, and you're also gonna have your days. You're a piece of shit, man. You made the wrong decision. You messed up. That's all right. We'll figure it out. And see, we just get back to that, figuring it out. Like, you're not gonna know everything. You're really not. You're really effing not. About anything. No one knows anything about anything. I think that's another thing. When you're an adult, because so I'm about to be 25. I just got to the age where people, like, when I tell them my age, it's no longer like, oh, you're just a baby. Like, when you're 21, 22, people are like, oh, but like when you say 24, 25, they're like, all right, like, you have some life. You got like a solid year or two of real life in you. How's that, you know? And I don't know, being an adult we know nothing. We don't know anything. I talked to my mom and she's just like, bro, I raised 2 kids. One of them is 25, 24, you know, like, how that happened, you know? And she says that. I'm like, okay, so it's all right that I know nothing. And I don't know. That just brings me so peace. Like, knowing it's okay to not know anything. Like, that's amazing. I don't think there's anything more soothing than that. Because I feel like where stress comes from is thinking that the world is expecting all these things of you and not being able to fulfill whatever it is that you think is being asked of you. And then you realize they're not asking anything of you. I could be home. I could walk out of this apartment, be homeless, but be okay with being homeless, you know, figure it out and just kind of wander around and I don't know, like just be this floating thing. Nobody cares. Not a single soul. Who's going to stop me? Who's going to stop me from just floating? No one. Not a single soul. And I might be happier than the person who has a job and, you know, 9 to 5, hustling, bustling, all that good stuff. Like, I don't know. That just messes with me all the time. All that to say, don't like bringing it back again. Don't take yourself seriously. This is all fake. Everything's fake. Time is fake. Nothing's real. I don't know. Helps me. But yeah. So back to where I am at in life. I love everything. I am so happy. I really am so happy. And I don't mean for this to be an episode talking about how happy I am, but I feel like we don't talk about that enough because, I get it. We're all into mental health. Everybody's like, everybody just got bad days. But yeah, like, why aren't we talking about the good ones? Why the heck aren't we talking about the good ones? I think we're in such a weird place with social media where people just love, I don't know. Like, people bash everybody for everything. You're happy, everybody's got a problem. Everybody's got a problem with how you obtained your happiness. Like, why? For what? You got people doing crazy things for money. Listen, that person's happy. Let them be. Just let them be. And then if you're too sad on social media, oh my God, why are you crying? Why are you posting that? But then you got the other girl who's like bringing awareness towards the fact that it's okay to not be okay. And it's like, oh my God, you're a pick me. Why are we talking about this? Like, no one's allowed to post anything, talk about anything or whatever. And I'm here in this space to tell you, I don't care. I'm going to do all of it. How I'm feeling, the world's going to know. They're going to know everything. I feel everything. And even on this podcast, you'll see, for those who watch the video version, I speak with my eyebrows. I can't hide a single emotion. I'm crying, I'm screaming, I'm laughing, not all the above. My eyebrows will tell you. If I'm uncomfortable with a guest or if I'm just kind of like not picking up what they're putting down, my eyebrows will tell you. And I think that's beautiful. I really do. Man, oh man. Wow, we're really doing this. You see, even just doing this is my first time doing a solo episode. I don't know what the heck I'm doing. I'm rambling. And I'll find out whether or not you guys like this or not. But I'm just gonna do it anyways. Because this is what makes me happy. That's my next note, actually. Do what makes you happy, regardless of what anybody else thinks. Because getting into this podcast, I went through so many different feelings. A whole lot of feelings. All the feelings, actually. And the biggest one was that people were going to listen to this, watch this, and be like, why did this girl think that anybody would even care to listen to this or watch this? Like, what gave her the balls to really get in front of a camera, set up a whole studio setup, and post this and put effort into this? And my answer is, because I like it and I love myself. And some people are going to love me too. And that's it. That's it. I love doing this. I love being on camera. I love all things video. Like, this is what I like to do. So, yeah, that's it. That's really just it. And I had to think about, like, am I okay with people, talking smack? Like, comment sections exist and people are mean. And I was just like, can I do it? Can I do it? Can I do it? And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna figure it out. Like, we'll find out if I can do it. And I might cry a little bit or a lot of it. Who knows? People saying mean things or people from my past coming up and just kind of being mean, But I'm so up for it. I have the space to handle that right now. And bringing it back to, you have to be happy and know how to regulate your emotions in order to put yourself in such a vulnerable place. Because although I'm on here and I'm talking about nonsense sometimes and I'm just cackling, giggling over just stupid stuff, that's vulnerable. Like, I'm just putting my face on camera and letting my thoughts flow in the natural way that they flow, in the embarrassing, nonsensical way that they flow. That's vulnerable as heck. But I'm like, if I exist and I'm here and I don't know, like, I just am the way I am, there's at least like minimum 100,000 other people who are just like me. So, just so be it. Let me be that face online for those 100,000 people. And let's just see where it takes me. Let's see where it goes. I don't freaking know. Like, just create it. Like, the whole thing, all I'm saying is that you got to create because you want to create. For people who like want to get on here and make money and stuff, that's nice. Like, if you can do that, that's amazing. And eventually I'll get there. So that's cool. But for a hot minute, you just gotta be doing this for funsies, for shits and gigs, you know? So here I am, and I just really hope people like it. I don't know. I have so much faith in myself because to do something like this, and like I said, just get on camera and really believe people are gonna give any kind of F's about what you're doing. Like, takes balls. Nah, I got them. Because it's so vulnerable, and I just have this enthusiasm for it. Like I'm just happy to be here. I'm just so excited to be here. And I think that you have to be in a really nice place in your life in order to put yourself in that position. Like it's almost like you got to make sure you're more than good so that when you're less than whatever you are, I'm hoping this makes sense. When you're when anybody tries to put you down, like you balance, not balance out. Oh my gosh. What the heck is the word? Checks out? No, it's not. When you break even with your emotions. That's what I mean. You know? Like, you just gotta make sure you're doing really well for yourself. Everything's amazing. That if somebody even tries to like screw up your day, it's like, all right, it's not a bad day, but it's like a less than great day. And I guess that just makes it average. It's fine. Everything's fine. It's fine. It's fine. So it's my little philosophy for life. I don't know. I've been learning a lot more about who I am recently because I've just been reflecting. I've been doing these podcasts. I've just been learning about so many things. And I realized that I don't know, like I'm book smart. I did really well in school, but I'm not as smart as I thought I was. And that's okay. That is so okay. I had a moment, and I wouldn't tell anybody this when it was happening in the moment, but I'll talk about it now because not that it's over, but I dealt with it. I had a moment where I felt stupid. And feeling stupid is not fun. I mean, at least not for me. Growing up, I was the kid with all the stickers on my notebook that said good job because I was just the overachiever since pretty young. Like I was homeschooled before kindergarten by my mom. And going into kindergarten, I knew how to add, subtract, and multiply. Like I went into school knowing I was the best, and I took that on throughout my years at school, just continuing to try to be the best at literally everything. And that made me salutatorian in high school. That made me graduate a semester early in college. Like I pride myself on, just being that person. That's great. Cool. So now I'm 24 and I haven't been in a school building in 3 years, 2.5. And I haven't been told what to think, how to think, when to think it, like I'm just not being given any type of resources that make the gears in my brain go. And I'm just kind of like, okay, like I notice when I talk to people, and this was through the podcast, that I speak a lot on personal experience, which is great. I have a lot of experiences to pull from. And I have a story for everything that people bring up, literally everything. I have something that ticks off in my brain that's like, oh my God, I remember this time. And I just go into full on story time mode. But I realized then I started talking to other people, like people, who are smarter than me. And when they speak, they pull from texts, like books and stuff that they learned in intellectual conversations with other people or other influential people that they were able to have conversations with in whatever cool situation. And I'm just like, I want some of those. I don't think I have any of those. I just had this weird moment where I was like, I want to be in certain rooms and there's a certain way you need to speak or at least certain things you need to know or whatever that you need in order to be in those rooms. And I was like, I don't think I have that. So I bought some books. Anybody who knows me knows I hate reading. I can't stand reading. Reading is not for me. Reading is so not for me unless I feel stupid. So bought some books. Went on Amazon, got some books. The first book I got was, it's over there. It's called Better Small Talk. Who would have thunk? Who would have thought that I, Yip To My Yap queen over here, needed a book about small talk? I bought it. I've been reading it. It's good stuff. I'm learning. And that has made me so happy. I bought another book, 101 Essays That'll Change the Way You Think. Self-explanatory. The way I think has been changed. No, I'm figuring it out. And I bought books about the philosophy of money. I've bought a whole bunch of books filled with essays, just books filled with things that I feel like will make the gears in my brain turn. And I don't know, I just feel better. I just feel better about myself. I feel better about my brain. I feel better about the way I think. And it's just made me happier. It really has. I'm very much a just do it person. If something's bothering you, change it. Like, what the hell is stopping you? Like, if you don't like where you're at, do something about it. Like, I'm not a complainer. I'm just very much like, I'll pitch him on for a little bit, but it's not without me, you know, changing things in the process. So like, yeah, I felt stupid. And stupid is the word that I'm using. It's not that I felt dumb. I felt like stupid is how like, I don't know. Stupid to me feels like the word. I don't feel like I'm not intelligent. That's not it. I just felt stupid. I feel like that would be the word that a really smart person, cultured person would use if they spoke to me. And I know there's a ton of people who are like, Erica, like, come on. I'm like, no, that's how I feel. And this is a perfect example of me, maybe even creating problems in my head that I don't have. And on the flip side, I know people who wish that they had as many experiences as I have had to pull from. So it's like, yeah, I'm grateful I got the experience, which is cool. But like, all right, I need to read a little bit. I need to read. I've been wanting. I feel like my circle of friends is like an Instagram algorithm of all the things that I love and enjoy or whatever. So I feel like they all kind of think the way that I think, believe the things that I believe, which is cool, fun, and dandy. That's why they're my friends. Like, cool. But at the same time, like, I feel like I need to hear other opinions because I'm just like, what if I haven't thought anything because I've literally just never heard the stance before or that other side of the argument or never even understood that side even existed. Like, I'm just like, how, like, I don't know. I just hate feeling closed-minded. And I think it's because there are people in my life who are super closed-minded and I see the way that I see them and the way that I don't want to say judge them, but I'm just not the biggest fan of them. And I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be that person. So I'm doing something about it. So all that to say, like, as happy and Disney as I can be, I'm very much like, all right, stop complaining. Like, when I'm sad, like legit sad, like down bad sad, I let myself cry about it for a day. I give myself a day. That's when I'll just mope around the house, won't even clean, just rotting in bed with my dog, eating some tacos, maybe even watching a movie. That's on a good day. But I just let myself be sad. And after that, it's like, all right, so what are we doing about it? What are we doing? But what's the plan? What's going on? Because without a plan, I'm just gonna stay sad. I live in a way where I'm always working towards something. Like, and if I'm not, I feel useless. And don't get me wrong, you need to take breaks. I took a break and I'm over that break. For me, breaks were like maybe a week here, 2 weeks there. I took a year-long break where I said, let me just sit in whatever successes I've had and just enjoy it. Like, that's it. Like, just like where I am and just sit in it. This is nice. Cool. And then after that year was up, I was like, okay, we need to do better. I need something else to sit in because I'm bored here. And I did, 2024 was crazy for me. It's crazy. Like, it's only October. It's only, like, I say that and you guys are like, oh, it's the end of the year. Like, no, I'm optimistic about everything. Everything can change in 2 months. And I'm just so ready for, like, I don't know. I used to be so scared of change. So scared of change. When I was in middle school and we had to go into high school and I realized there was going to be I was like, what? The friends I've been going to school with my whole life in a different building, making new friends that aren't me. Are you effing kidding me? And now I'm just like, what? Change? Yes, give it to me. However, the only change I'm not leaving New York. That's the only thing. So much can change. But me leaving New York, it ain't happening. I'm sorry. Sorry, babe. It's not happening. But I'm so cool with change. I'm so cool with things. First, just like I just figure it out. I figure it out. I need things to be moving. I need things to change. I need to be alive. Like growing up, I've always said, like my mom used to ask me, like, what do you want to do when you grow up? And I was just like, for as long as I'm not in an office, I'm okay. And she was always just like, what? I'm like, nope. And back when I was younger, I was like, what does that mean? Because I didn't know, the big old world of jobs and stuff that you can have. But I was like, what am I going to do? I'm going to be in fucking Cirque du Soleil? Like, I don't know. I just knew I couldn't be in an office. I just couldn't sit down for 8 hours straight. Like, I was just like, nah, that life is not meant for me. And I got older and I found myself just, in the whole videography, photography world. And it's everything that I love. Like, this is what I mean though, when I say like, to be happy and do the things that you enjoy, like everything will work itself out because I go out of my way to do the things that I love and see the people that I care about and do I fill my life with just joy, like things that make me happy. I make sure I consistently go to the gym and I work on my body and stuff because that makes me happy. Being healthier, being happier, all that good stuff. And then, oh, guess what happens at the gym? You make a shit ton of friends who also love going to the gym. And wow, now you get to go to the gym and work out and be happy and see people that you care about all at the same time. What a life. That's just one thing. And then you meet friends who need a videographer for their gym videos. Wow, would you look at that? Now I'm recording people working out at a gym and I get to talk to other people while I'm recording this one person who are also interested in either what I'm doing or working out. Oh my gosh, my interests all right there. And then you work with more companies and more people in line with with your interests. And for me, I love love. I love rom-coms. What am I doing? I'm recording weddings. I am doing photo shoots for anniversaries. I am capturing moments of love. And what am I obsessed with? Love. I love love. Like everything in my life just kind of just it's all lumped in one big thing and it's because I feel like I made it that way. My life works for me because I made it that way. And then eventually I want to get into being a personal trainer. And that's just more layers to everything. Everything that I do is helping out another part of my life. When I go on my videography gigs and I meet someone who's really interesting, or I'm speaking to someone and I realize that you like, this is flowing. Hey, want to be on my podcast? Like, it just works. Everything works out. But if you told any other random person, oh, like, do you think that fitness, cameras, and love could ever just like be lumped up into this one thing? Like, what would you think of? You wouldn't have an answer. But it's because there isn't an answer and I made an answer because what did I do? I figured it out. Just figure it out. Like, oh my gosh. I get so excited talking about this and it's like see, okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. Everything, it just works because what did I say at the beginning of this podcast? I like that I can just have my thoughts out there in the world, put them together and post them. But I feel like the way that I speak and the way that my thoughts flow just keeps on proving previous points. And I don't know, I feel like it just adds to this thing of like, yeah, well, I don't know. Like, I just feel like everything flows the way that it flows because like, I don't like the way that I think and everything is so in line with everything that I believe, which sounds a little stupid. You think the things you believe? Yeah, I know. But I practice what I preach. That's the point. That is exactly what I'm saying. Like, I get so happy when I realize I am exactly who I say I am. I think that's where the excitement is because I know I've met too many fake people who I'm just like, you're a whole hypocrite and a half. Like, I'm over it. Like, I can't put up with it, can't deal with it, don't want to. So every time I can prove to myself, like, nah, you are who you are. You know who you are and you're exactly where you're supposed to be. It's just so great. It's just so great. Like, you're looking at someone who has cried a lot. Just trying to figure out who she is, who she's meant to be, what she's supposed to do, who she's meant to be around. And after a whole lot of, I don't want to call it soul searching because I don't think I found that. I found my soul. It's kind of crazy. I'm only 24. But I found something and I like it. I like her. I love me. And I can't emphasize enough how much self-love plays a part in my life. Like, there's a lot of love in my life. That's one thing for sure. But I've spoken about this in future episodes. But like, my parents love me a ton. It's like, I don't know. My parents don't play about me. They really don't. And I think knowing that I always have them and knowing that they absolutely adore me, like knowing that I can do no wrong in their eyes, like just has me like, okay, like people look at their parents and their parents' relationships and like that's how they develop whatever idea of love. Like, for relationships and friendships and stuff. My parents broke up when I was like 7, right? Yeah. And I at no point was like, oh man, relationships never work out. Oh, poor me. Instead, it was just more like, okay, like it is what it is. We'll figure it out. And one thing that them breaking up never got in the way of was how much they loved me. And I know that that's not the case for a lot of people, but the older I get, the more grateful I am for it because they adore me. Like I go through old pictures of me and my parents and they just hold me up like I was like this freaking trophy. There's so many birthday photos of me and everybody's at the table just like looking at me like, yeah, look at her. Like, and then I think about how I think about myself and I'm just like, yeah, I'm her. And it's because they did that for me. So they love me so much. And that's bled over into how much I love myself. And how much I love myself stops me from getting into situations I shouldn't be in. With people, with companies, with life, with my career, all that. I love myself too much to let myself be somewhere I shouldn't be. That's that. Like, I don't know. Like like that's what I mean when I say like it's not conceited, it's not narcissistic. It's just I care about myself way too much. I really do. And I don't think a lot of people can say that. Like I really, even like when it comes to relationships, if you can't love me as hard as my parents love me and as hard as I love myself, I don't want it. I don't want it. I mean, and it's really hard to get up there. So maybe like a little lower than that or whatever. It's fine, I guess. I'll settle. But it's really effing hard to get up there. I really like who I am. I really do. And then for anybody listening just on the audio side, like I know this sounds like a crazy ramble of the same nonsense over and over. But I think it's so great to get to a point where you know who you are and you love and it's like, I'm going to change and that's okay. Because I say I know who I am, but I know who I am right now. And that's what matters. Like, screw who I am, next year, screw who I was 4 years ago. I really like who I am right now. And for as long as I am always this enthusiastic about my present day self, I'm going to be fine. So, with that being said, like, I think it takes a lot of work to get here and everyone has their own thing. For me personally, it was a shit ton of journaling. It was journaling, but what really set everything in stone was reading back my journaling. And I feel like another important thing of it was journaling in journals that have prompts. Because when you just journal, journaling for no reason is cool too, and just writing how you feel. But if you're like really if you're so lost you don't even know who you are, you think you don't know what to write. So I got this journal and it had like really interesting prompts. Like it would just say the color pink. Tell me about what you think about when you think about the color pink. And some days like I would get really dreamy about it and I would be like sunsets and like really cute baby pigs and kids drawing with pink crayons. Like I would just get into it. Or I would write something else if it said like write about like the color. Let's still use pink. And on a different day, maybe I'd say something like, oh, I would think about like spoiled strawberry milk. Like, why the fuck is it spoiled? But that's how I was feeling that day. Like, it's when you read things like that back, you don't have to talk about yourself and you don't have to talk about what you're going through, but you know exactly how you're feeling with what you wrote. Like that, I feel like for me, I'm being very specific about that. For me, that worked because I'm someone that can, when something's really, like I'm an open book, but when something's really getting to me, it's really hard for me to like talk about it. Or you know what? It's more when I know the issue is me, that's where the stubbornness comes back. That's when it's really hard for me to say it out loud. So, any anger, frustration, or all that would be in these prompts. I would hide it in there some way, somehow. But when I'd read it back and I would date them, I would know exactly what I was talking about, at least when I looked back. And that's what allowed me to reflect and be like, oh, I was going through this at this time. And that's why I said that. But in the moment when I was reading, I was like, well, yeah, why else would I think about spoiled strawberry milk? What other kind of fucking milk is there? Like, but that was just me being bitter and angry in the moment. So yeah, I had a journal with prompts, and I feel like that was super helpful for me. Another thing was just breathing, but like I still have yet to get into like alternate nostril breathing, like all like the specific types, like the bunny breathing and all that. Like I haven't, I'm not there, but literally just consciously breathing makes a difference. And controlling what you think about while you're breathing, or visualizing things while you're breathing, like what are you breathing in, what are you breathing out, that works for me. Whole lot of sage and Palo Santo. Like we're getting into crystal territory here. So if you're not fucking with that, it's your time to head out. Um, reading up on crystals, and just doing a little crystal thing. You guys know. Um, and yeah, so there's a whole lot more, but that's just me generalizing for now. But one thing within, all of that is just the idea that that I keep coming back to, like, life is what you make it. Life is 100% what you make it. And when you put in all that work to yourself, put all that work into yourself, like, and you put intention into things just start working out. And I'm not telling you guys what to believe in. This is just what happened for me. But like, you don't have to do anything crazy to just make your life what it is. Like, a candle can just be a regular candle. Regular candle you just found at the dollar store. But if you light it up and you put intentions into it, and you say, like, just whatever it is that you want out of life, and you're intentional the whole time that you're lighting the candle, like as you light it, like it's a process, it's a whole thing. And you just think about what you want to bring into your life and what this candle represents, then that's what the candle is. That's 100% what the candle is, because you said so. And no one has to believe it but you. But you have to actually believe it. Like, if you're like somebody who just, I'm going to buy this rock because somebody said it's going to, you know what? Let's not even go the crystal route. The money tree? Some people are like, I'm just going to buy this money tree and, like, I guess my business is going to be booming. No, because you don't believe it. You're just like, I guess I'm just going to get this tree. No, you got to, like when you go to Build-A-Bear and you kiss the heart before you put it in the bear, and you hug it and you put a wish into the bear, you got to mean that. When you were a kid, you meant that. That's how you got to buy the money tree. You got to be so sure that this tree is the representation of the growth of your business. And you got to water it and you got to nourish it. And that's what it'll be. So, some people might have already gotten off of this podcast because you think I'm a little crazy, but it is what it is. But you just got to be intentional with everything. I'm like that even when I shower. Like, every time I shower, I visualize me washing off any negativity, or just washing off the day. And that's what to me represents like a new day the following day. After I shower, I'm refreshed. I'm new. Like, what's going on? I'm ready. I'm a clean slate. And that's just how I feel. And no one else has to believe it because it's none of their business. It's just me. Like, it works for me. And I think everyone needs their own little version of Delulu in their head when it comes to working on themselves, because if you're not going to believe in yourself and you're not going to, play into it at least a little bit, who will? No one. No one. Because we are alone and nothing but a speck in this world. See? Bringing it back. Bringing it back. But then once you get there and once you get to where you want to be, like mentally and stuff, you're on top of the freaking world. Why? Because you bought yourself some little rocks and maybe a tree, and you burned some pieces of wood in your apartment, or, other people believe in different things. Buy a Bible. I don't care. Like, do what you got to do. And you figure it out. You figure it out. And I think that's beautiful. Like, listen, man, like, I get told that I'm so Disney so often, but it just works. It really works. It really works. I am a firm believer that life is magic. Everything is magic. Everything is amazing. Life is worth living, all that good stuff. You just got to make it into what you want to make it. Like, outside of the people who've gone through really, really traumatic things, like terrible things, think the worst thing, whatever. Like, outside of them, I feel like if you're sad and miserable or whatever, it's because either you deserve it or you just made it that way. Like, I know too many people who just don't try, who just don't want it bad enough. Like, you have to want to put in work to make your life what you want it to be. And that it sounds so simple and so dumb, but you do. Like, just sitting around working a 9 to 5 and whatever, like, just going through it so like blech. Yeah, your life is gonna be blech. And I'm not one of those people who are like, screw your 9 to 5. What? You woke up at 7 to get to work? I'm not one of those. What I'm saying is, let's say you are a 9 to 5 kind of person. After work, what are you doing? Are you seeing friends? Are you giving yourself a spa day? Are you working out, going to the gym, doing yoga? Are you doing something to better yourself? Are you doing something to help others? Are you being the best version of yourself? When you got dressed to go to work, did you just throw on what you just saw in the closet randomly? Or did you put effort into the way that you looked? How do you walk? Do you walk with purpose? Do you just slouch around as if you're no one? Who do you think you are? Like, do you think that you're just this average Joe, or do you think that you're someone who takes on the day every day, no matter what the day is? Like, it's all intent. Like, everything. You can do everything intentionally. One of my favorite things to do intentionally is cook. Because, listen, people say, like, oh, like, I made this with love and blah, blah, blah. That's real. That is so real. Because I don't cook for myself when I'm angry or when I'm upset or something, because the food never comes out good. It could be fucking cereal, the worst cereal I've ever had in my life. like when I make a lasagna and I'm in a good mood and I'm making the lasagna because in my head I'm like, I need to nourish my body and this is gonna hold me down for like 2 days because I make enough lasagna for a village and I don't have to spend any money because all the ingredients are in my kitchen. Like, I'm just thinking about all the good that's coming from this lasagna as I'm making the lasagna. And I'm just like, I'm just boiling my pasta, I'm just listening to some music. My face mask is on. But today is such a good day. No day is better than this day. While I'm making my lasagna, because that's just how I am. That is the most bomb lasagna. Ooh! It's the best. It's the best. And once you just start living every part of your life like that, like, I don't know. I sound like I'm promoting a product. I sound like the product I'm promoting is positivity, optimism, love, light, and energy. All that good stuff. Like, that's who I am. It really is. However, I do have my days. Everybody has their days. Stuff happens. And I'm not someone you want to be around when I'm stressed. That's one thing. I think the only thing, cuz anger doesn't really get to me anymore. Like, to be angry is worthless. It's for what? For what? To be sad? Yeah, you got to be sad sometimes. You got to cry. But like when you're stressed, like stress I guess is linked to like anxiety, cuz if you're stressed, you're kind of freaking out over something in the future, something that hasn't happened yet, or something that you hope won't happen, or something that, you got to get done and time isn't on your side, all that good stuff. Stress is the only thing that can really get to me in a way that I can't be that positive person for anybody else. I have to be as positive a person as I can be for myself. And that's the only time I've ever been unavailable for anyone else. That is one thing. When you prioritize yourself, like boundaries, you gotta learn how to set them. Because when I'm stressed, like there's a lot of people who only know me as this positive, like ball of light, and that's amazing. That's great. That's all fine and dandy. But there are some of those people who have liked me a little less after experiencing me during a time that I just can't be that person. I got too much to do. Like, I need to work. There are things that need to get done, and they won't get done unless I do them. Like, just don't speak to me for a day. That's all it takes. I need a day to get my life in order, and I'm back to this, happy-go-lucky thing tomorrow. Just give me time. And there are some people who just like don't get that. But at the same time, they don't get that and they don't understand that way of me prioritizing myself because they don't do that themselves. And that's the only thing that'll kind of like push me away from certain friends, or pull me away actually, because it's just like, listen, like if you don't get the things that I do and why I do them and the way that I do them and just the whole like foundation of why I believe the things that I believe, and for it to not even be that big of a deal, you know, like if all that it means is like, listen, man, I know you need me right now, but I got you tomorrow. Like I'm all yours tomorrow. Undivided attention. Like that's all it means. And it's not, they're not going through anything crazy. They just want to speak to me or they just want to see me or go to a dinner. I'm just like, I just can't. If you can't understand that and you can understand if you can understand the bigger picture underneath that, then I don't think we could be friends. I'm sorry. Cause like all my friends who are truly my friends understand that like I will always be there for you. Always, always, always. And the only reason I can't is because I like physically, mentally, spiritually cannot. Like I know that whatever version of me that I could possibly give to you is not the one that you need. And they trust my judgment enough to know like, yeah, Erica's kind of useless right now. She needs herself. So that's the most I've ever spoken in one sitting about why I think the way I think, who I am, and all that stuff. Like these are the thoughts that circle in my brain on a regular basis. Like just walking to the gym or just like hanging out, whatever. Like whenever I have time to myself, this is where my brain goes. I just reflect on why I think the way I think, what I think, when I think it, all that good stuff. And this is the first time I've really said all these things in one sitting about that. And this just goes back to the beginning of me being so happy that I just get to put my thoughts out here and just see who else thinks the same thing or who can relate or who I've maybe opened eyes for or who maybe even closed their ears halfway through. I don't know. I'm just happy to be here. Like I said, I'm just so happy to be doing this. I really am. But yeah, so I think we're at the end of our episode, end of our little chat. And I just really wanted to give you guys a gauge of who I am. I think I did a decent amount of that. And I just wanted to know who is this girl on the camera with all these different people just yapping it away. Because, I don't know, I feel like I just popped out of nowhere and was like, I'm making a podcast and no one knows who I am, but we're going to figure it out, you know? So, yeah, that's me. And none of this is fake. Everything you see on these podcasts is really just how I interact with these people. And I hope people enjoy it. Because another thing, I love my friends enough to, like, I don't know, I enjoy them and I love them so much that I feel like other people should too. But I feel like other people should enjoy them and love them and experience them in the way that I experience them. Because I think that they're so cool. Like I am a very deadpan person for certain things. And that's not hard to believe. But there are certain, like my expressions can be a little stale sometimes. And I feel like there are episodes where I'm looking at my friends and it looks like I'm disinterested. I'm in love with all my friends. Like there is at least minimum one part of every friend of mine that I absolutely adore. And another thing that motivated me to get this podcast going is just because I just wanted you guys to see them too. Like they're so great. They really are. So I hope you enjoy them. I hope you enjoyed me. Thank you for watching and listening to this episode. This is very different for me and nerve-wracking as heck. Like, comment, and subscribe, or whatever your streaming service, watching service, listening service, whatever you want to call it. Whatever it tells you to do to support me and help me, press whatever buttons, rate, all the good stuff, 5 stars, 6 stars, all the likes, all the positive comments, all that good stuff. And yeah, if you made it this far, thanks. Like, thanks a lot. Like, bro, I'll get into this next episode. But I just get so happy that people enjoy this. Okay, bye.